why I gathered us here today. I'm going to just kind of do a little intro for these gents. Some of you guys might already know them, and some of you guys may not. So I'm going to start on my top right, which is Mr. Brian Parnell. And Brian and I go back over a decade. He was one of the first people that I really felt like was a true mentor to me and really took me under his wing, taught me quite a lot about SEO back then. He just hasn't really stayed in the training space, but that doesn't mean he hasn't stayed number one on top with SEO and all things SEO. So recently, he has joined forces with Simon, and I know a lot of you guys know Simon from Chameleon Mode, and Brian is now backing and investing Chameleon Mode, and I absolutely love the software. So I thought it'd be a really great use of our time if we got together and let these blokes, I'm gonna call them that because they're not from the US, I'm gonna let these blokes kind of tell us about a few things. Like, I have questions about safe browsing and why I wouldn't just use Chrome, and I'm sure you guys have questions. So if you have questions, do raise your hand, put them in the chat, put them in the Q&A, wherever you can get our attention, and we'll go ahead and get those answered for you. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brian and Simon and let them, get started and tell you guys a little bit about themselves. And then we'll jump right into what the heck is safe browsing? Why should we be paying attention? What are the ramifications, et cetera, and have a conversation about it. Gentlemen.
Hey. Okay. Well, welcome. I guess I'll get started. So my name's Simon Dardia. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the founder of Chameleon Mode, which used to be Browsio. Some of you might be familiar with that. And I go back about 20 years digital marketing, involved in all sorts of websites, subscription directories, online marketing. Affiliate marketing is where I made my bones, so to speak, in the online world. I got into that really heavy in about 2009 and just dominated the SERPs for different e-cigarette related keywords. And in short, we got out of that. I got out of that. Panda, different updates kind of hit. And then we got into agency marketing, running an agency. Me and my partner invested in an agency. And we got involved in developing websites. It was the easiest turnaround for us, building websites for companies, businesses all over the States, predominantly in America. It was a US agency that we bought, New York based. It was called Noam Design. And, that then led us off to where we are today. So without getting too involved in the background, well, I guess there's a whole story, but I'll let Brian maybe say a little bit about who.
Let me introduce myself, and then you can. So Brian Parnell, been in the internet marketing arena for a very long time. If I go all the way back, I did my dissertation at university on the internet and how it will change the way we shop, and that was in 1995. And doing the research for that dissertation, I knew that I would end up doing something with the internet. I was also I used to work for HSBC, the bank, and I replaced my quite well-paid salary with my affiliate marketing, all done through SEO, and left my day job in 2010. Then a couple of years, and I started doing online training when I met Lisa. Couple of years after that, met Simon, became really good friends with Simon, as well as I am with Lisa. And then Browsio came out. I started using Browsio every single day and sang about it from the rooftops. Then Chameleon came along, took Browsio's place. I've been using Chameleon every single day in my business, from running my PBNs, all the way through to actually just easily managing client accounts, and everything in between. And with the advent of AI and lots of other things, I saw a good way forward of using Chameleon and things that I wanted within Chameleon Mode. And long story short, I said to Simon, I want all this kind of stuff implemented, please. And he said, oh, we've got loads of investors. It might be quite difficult. So I said, well, can I become an investor? Because then I've got more say. And here we are. And speaking to Lisa, and Lisa kindly said, can you get on and tell us why all of this is important? So here we are. But from a technical perspective, Simon's our man. I'll be, if there's any questions coming in, I can answer them online. I will, if they're easy ones. Otherwise, I'll keep them and ask Simon a little bit later. And I apologize for these big headphones, my microphone and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if you can tell, there's stuff just all piled up in the middle of a big renovation, and I have no idea where my very expensive microphone and everything is. So I've nicked the kids' gaming headset just to nice. To embarrass myself with these big ears on. All right.
You look gorgeous. Don't worry about it.
Oh, thank you, my lovely. Thank you.
So how Browsio originally came to be was having been involved in running an agency, a digital agency. We were taking on customers, and we were doing quite well. We had people who were managing, VAs who were managing the PBNs, building links, building socials, getting a little bit of traction, doing the SEO. We were building websites, and then we started taking on more SEO clients, and things were getting a little bit overwhelming. We were managing pretty much everything from spreadsheets, different computers, different VPSs, and one day, I remember it like yesterday. It was one of the guys who was doing account creation, working on PBNs and whatever it was at the time. He had a problem with Tumblr, couldn't understand what it was. It kept deleting. We weren't able to create an account for this particular customer. And then we were getting verifications left, right, and center. Every time we were logging into a normal account, we kept having a sort of a verification, an SMS, and we would have to get in touch with clients. We're based in Israel, so we had clients in America, in different parts of the States, and it was a logistical nightmare having to deal with all of these new issues of verification. So it turned out, after we did a little bit of research, we found that there were new little leaks that Google Chrome had implemented in order to see past proxies. And we were at a barbecue, and the whole thing came to be by luck, because I had spent already tens of thousands of dollars trying to develop something that could help manage this system for us. And I was with my partner. We were talking about what we were developing and what we were doing and how it's not exactly working out. And my brother was there, who was part of the conversation, overheard us. He's my younger brother, and he was in the army at the time. He was a high-level programmer in an elite unit working on native Windows applications. And he was listening and understood certain things and said, hey, I think I can help you out here. And he's my little brother, he's 20 at the time, 21, I think, maybe 19. And I'm here running this business, and I'm trying to get things working. And he's, I'm okay. So he said that he had this idea. So I kind of listened to him. I said, okay, great. He went away, came back about 2 weeks later with this little app, said, install this on your computer. And I opened it up. It was this browser type thing. And then he said, now click that button. And it opened up another browser. And I said, right, but we need to make sure everything is separate, because don't forget, there's this WebRTC leak. And then there's this, you have to be on a separate proxy and what have you. So in a nutshell, that was the first iteration. Browsio was born. And, it was just something that I was using for myself in-house for our company. And then I had all this extra time now. All this, not so much extra time, but in my head, I had a lot of things that I didn't have to manage and deal with. I didn't have to constantly log in and log out of accounts, because if you're in a browser, as you can't have multiple social accounts. You have to have them.
And managing that those spreadsheets, what a nightmare, because I remember doing that myself, right?
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
PBNs, for clients, for for all of it.
And
That's
that's what I
right.
love, Simon, about your journey and why I think you're so authentic is because you started as an agency and the tool you created was to solve the problems you knew very intimately about that we all deal with too. So I'm going to keep us on track. Thank you for intros. So Simon, I know you've prepared a little bit of training for us because I don't know about some of you guys, but me, I'm kind of behind the times on some of this stuff. And so I was talking to Brian and Simon, and I'm like, help me understand. And that's how this this webinar came to be, so we could educate you guys at the same time. So Simon, I don't know if you want to share your PowerPoint and kind of just teach us a little bit of, why we wouldn't just use Chrome profiles, right?
Sure, absolutely.
Because that was always my take. Like, hey, why wouldn't I just do this? And I would throw the stuff at Brian, and Brian was like, just don't. Just use this stuff. And I can't. I got to learn. So
yeah. So can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Excellent.
That's great.
Okay, great. All right, so we're talking about a digital footprint, and the first layer, and the first layers that you have there that we were dealing with, that is the most obvious one, is the proxies, right? So the proxy is the first thing that a website sees. It identifies you. It's going to know who you are based on the proxies, and depending on the kind of proxies, it's going to leave an impression on this website, on this social site, whoever it's going to be, whether or not it's a data center proxy, a residential proxy, a mobile proxy, or whatever it's going to be. That's the first port of call. That's the first thing they see. Very, very important to have good proxies. So that's the first thing. We'll get into VPNs and what the differences are in just a second, but I'm sure probably most of you know. Then the next thing after the proxies are fingerprints. And it's not the kind of fingerprints on your hands. There's all these different digital fingerprints that browsers now leave. You have fingerprints, you have canvas fingerprint, you have client rect fingerprints, you have audio fingerprints, you have media device fingerprints, you have font fingerprints, and then you have different time zones that you have to adhere to as well. And then you have to make sure that everything is synced up with the hardware so that it looks authentic. Now, the hardware is is what their website is trying to see. That's what WebRTC was, the first technology to see past the proxy and bypass a proxy. WebRTC stands for Web Real-Time Communication. So as soon as all of this webcams and everything that we're doing right here, right now on this computer is using WebRTC, for example. And the way that it works is that it has to connect into your system. Right now, it's connecting to my hardware. It's speaking to my audio. It's speaking through to my camera. And using the WebRTC protocol, it can see exactly where I am. And my hardware has got an IP address separate to the IP address that your browser has. So all of these fingerprints and all of these different softwares, they're all able to see through, if they want to the hardware that you have on your computer, right? So that's the first layer. Now, the hardware on your computer, if you don't have the right configuration, if you've got the whole setup is wrong, if you're not using clean proxies, if your fingerprints are completely off, if it comes up as a fake fingerprint, right? There are fake fingerprints, and it will come up as a fake fingerprint. Hardware as well, it can come up as it's also spoofed. And then also when that happens, you start to get a lot of bans and a lot of blocks. So the next.
So Simon, hold on a minute. Let's kind of dig into this a second, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm slow on the uptick a lot of times.
Yeah.
The reason we're even talking about this is because what you're basically saying here is when we go in and we're trying to create a Twitter account for our client, or trying to create an asset for a client,
yeah,
it is actually connecting us with that client's footprint. Yeah. And the reason this is bad is because what if you have a process where your VA is doing it in the Philippines or in India. That's why you hear a lot of people, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's why I hear a lot. I can't make, I keep getting, I make the Twitter account and immediately it gets shut down.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of the footprint you have.
Yeah.
And even though you've tried to do all these different things, there are legitimate reasons to do this. I want to start by saying that there's legitimate reasons to do this. It's not like we're trying to cheat the system. It's my client hired me to do a job for them because they don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So I have to be able to execute against that. And all of these proxies, fingerprints, hardware, all this stuff are getting in the way, correct?
That's right. That's exactly right.
I just wanted to get that out here because somebody had actually asked, like, aren't we supposed to be claiming our digital footprint? And yeah, they want us to do that, but there's so much scam and fake stuff out there. It's very hard to do anymore.
That's right. You need to see, you can't claim exactly. It's a very good point. You can't claim your digital footprint unless you have one, right? And if you are constantly clearing your cookies and clearing your cache and logging in and logging out with different browser instances, and you don't have any kind of a footprint to leave behind, then that's also not going to be good. You need to have a digital footprint, but it needs to be a clean digital footprint. So what we used to do is we used to clear cookies, clear cache, and do all of that sort of stuff, and then log back in and have to deal with verifications and whatever you might have to deal with. Even if you're using Chrome browsers, there's still going to be times where there's going to be crossover. You're going to be on the same computer. You're going to be on the same system. And that's going to cause, if you're going to have more than, I don't know. I know people who safely use between 10 and 15, but once it gets past 15, 20, and you're using, and especially if you're doing things that they're a little bit connected, right? So you might have one client, and that one client is going to want you to have multiple Twitter accounts, one might want to represent customer service, one might want to be for support, and one might want to be a different sort of outreach manager that's doing different things, and you're going to want that all connected to different profiles. So it really does, so you really do need to have that footprint. So what we do is we take all of the footprints, we take the canvas, the fingerprints, all of these different things that you see in front of you, the different technical aspects of what's going on behind. And I just want to say that you don't have to worry about all of this. Chameleon does all of this in the back end. It's completely automatic when you log in, when you open it up. It's making sure that your user agents are correct, the media devices are spoofed, and then you could even get in there and disable media devices. You can spoof them, so you have full customization within Chameleon Mode on the back end to even play with the level of anonymity that you want. But it comes preset, pre-programmed with what we believe to be the best settings. And to create, and what we do is, what happens is when you log into a profile using Chameleon, you're logging in with a clean proxy. You're logging in with a new setup, a new device enumeration, new user agent, new media device information, new time zone, everything all synced up so that your footprint is now connected to your instance, so that whenever you go back to it, you are going to have the same proxies, you're going to have the same fingerprints, you're going to have your hardware, you're going to have all of the bans and blocks that you would normally have to deal with by managing multiple accounts, because they've all got the same fingerprints, gone and dealt and done, because everything is automatically saved. You literally have to set it up once, and you log into your browser, and every time, just like you log into your normal browser and you're always connected, it's the same thing within Chameleon. So you do create that really safe and clean digital footprint. So whatever you're doing for your clients, for yourself, whether or not it's affiliate marketing or client SEO, local marketing, local SEO, whatever it might be, you do want to have that clean footprint so that you're not going to deal with all these verifications and blocks that you would normally have to deal with. Does that make sense? Am I?
Yeah, and I think, just if I can just add, so one of the things that I like about this, and I know we're talking about a software here, but this is all to do with the digital fingerprints and these footprints. But when I go into my Facebook accounts or Google accounts. So I've got lots of different projects for lots of different things. And I will open up a browser for a particular project, and it will automatically already be logged into that project's Google, Facebook, Twitter, whatever else I've got signed up within that project. So that means that Facebook, Twitter, Google, whatever I've got in there is looking at it, that is a different computer to the next project, that I just go and do exactly the same, open it up, and they will all automatically open up. But it's like how did you phrase it earlier to me about everything? Each project has its own home on its own computer in terms
Yeah,
of
it's like
yeah,
like a normal human user acting, interacting with a site. So we've done a lot of testing with signing up and just double checking with absolutely all different angles, and it's like it is like you're a real normal human. We have accounts. I have accounts that I have in my Chameleon that I demoed on the very first webinar I did in 2015, and it's still alive and well in my Chameleon now. In fact, I have hundreds of accounts that were created back then that are still alive and well and accessed and all open and working very well with no verifications. I mean, you'll need to do a verification if it's the first time you're logging in 6 months, an SMS, but that's about it. You don't have to do anything after that. So back to the fingerprints. Let me just change. I want to just get off of the presentation and just share my screen just to show physically, just to show in real time what we're talking about, what this means. Okay, so let me stop sharing. Okay, and now I'm going to share my screen. Window. Is it the entire screen I want, or window? I think it's the entire screen. Yeah. Okay, so do you see this in front of you where it says unreliable?
Yes, unreliable. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so what this is one of those sites. There's lots of these websites, but this site tells you what your digital footprint looks like, whether or not it's reliable or unreliable, according to these websites. So this is showing that everything is perfect, right? Your browser is displayed as real. That's great. It's showing that I'm using Brave. This is a Brave browser. My location looks like it's an ordinary user's location. Great. Here, location in Israel. My IP address, and then my hardware. It says that I'm masking my footprint, but my software looks fine. So if we look down here, we go down to the hardware. This is what it's not happy with. It's not happy with the way that it's spoofing client recs, the audio, the canvas, and WebGL. Now, the thing about this is to understand is that this is Brave browser, and this is not Brave browser that is connected to Chameleon. This is a factory installed Brave browser. Now let's take a look at a factory installed Firefox. This is a factory installed Firefox. I haven't changed any settings. There's no extensions to mess with any of the customizations here. This is just a normal Firefox. Now, Brave happens to have the same founders as Firefox, and they're both really, really interested in privacy. So their systems already come with masking built in, as you can see. And that's a very good thing, because it means that if you're on Firefox or if you're on Brave and your hardware is being masked, it just means that you're just another regular Brave user or another regular Firefox user that's masking their fingerprint. And it doesn't come up. If it would be a fake fingerprint, then it would say this is a fake fingerprint, but it's not. You're not a fake. It's not a fake browser. It's a real Brave browser. It's a real Firefox browser, but it's being masked on the back end over there, according to the systems that they use. So you're in really good company if you're using Firefox or if you're using Brave, because everyone is masking default using that system. Right now, this is where it gets interesting. So let me just close Firefox down here. Let's go to System Chrome. Now this is the system Chrome. This is my Chrome at home again, and it comes up perfect. Why? Because it's Chrome, and Chrome don't do anything to mask anyone's location. They want to make sure that you can see through and you're as transparent as possible. And that's a good thing because it gives you a trustworthy score, and websites tend to really like that. If you're signing up to accounts, we find that Chrome seems to be, or if you're doing anything like that, we find that Chrome happens to be the best one for it because it's Chrome. It's not a Chromium build. It's a real browser. It's a real Chrome browser. It's not a custom built Chromium build. It's built by the Google guys, right? So they've got all of these tags and all of these things in the browser that just tells any website like Facebook, like whoever it is, that this is a real Chrome browser. Okay, so if we now look at these browsers here, this is another Chrome browser. And this Chrome browser happens to be a browser managed in Firefox, in Chameleon.
Chameleon.
This one here is managed by Chameleon. And as you can see, we're getting a trustworthy score. And we're going to dig a little bit deeper into that in a second. And here's another profile, another browser managed by Chameleon, also getting a trustworthy score. Great, they're all on the same system, trustworthy score or not. Now what's differentiating them? So first of all, we've got the IP address over here, as you can see. This is a different IP address here to here. And then of course to here, because this is my local IP address. And then if we're just going to stick them side by side, make it a little bit easier. Which one is it? It's Chrome. Is that the one? Yeah. Okay. So we'll look at the browsers, what we were saying here. So we've got Chrome browser, and the location is Houston, North America. This location here is in Washington, right? District of Columbia. The IP address is here, shows the organization. So we're on a nice internet connection. Another IP address, Howard University. This is a completely different residential IP system. Now, this is where it all gets interesting for the geeks out there, is the hardware. The hardware is where we spoof it in a way so that it looks real. So, you know, we've been given a blank canvas by Chrome, so we're able to get in there and reorganize things in a very organized way. And even a little bit better, I have to say, than Brave, because Brave still comes up. And these are the system Braves. This is how they do it, and this is how we do it in Chameleon. We come up 100% unique and trustworthy within Chameleon. Now sometimes it might not come up trustworthy. It's because there'll be an hour off daylight saving. So sometimes the time zone might be a little bit off. Sometimes the hardware hasn't refreshed totally, so all you'll need to do is do a little refresh, open and close the browser. That might happen once in a while, but that's only because it hasn't been, it just needs a quick refresh. But in essence, this is what each one of your Chameleon entities profiles will have. Will have a completely unique and trustworthy score, showing that you're in a completely different part of the country. And every time you log into these, you're going to have the same IP, cache, cookies, and personas logged into it, and so on and so forth. So
it doesn't matter where you are in the world or where your VA is in the world, right. They will get this. Just explain a little bit about the importance of the time zone and why we're so good there on getting that to match.
Well, it's important to be in the right time zone because that's just it's an easy thing to be lazy about, is having the IP and then but your IP address is in New York, but your time zone on your computer is in I don't know, Florida or the
UK, right?
England, the UK or China or wherever you're going to be, right? So here, if you look at my computer, you can see down here it's 10:33 local time, right? So my computer is saying 10:33 local time, and then if we look at the location here,
and guys, just this is one thing that when I used to do a lot of spoofing myself, so I created a load of little bots back in 2011-ish, and they worked brilliantly for ages, and then they stopped working. And when I say they worked, they were basically CTR. So I would get them to go and either follow backlinks to money sites, or I would get them to go and click within Google and do, click through rate, whatever it's called. Not optimization. What's it called?
CT. Which one? What are you talking about?
CTR, click through rate.
CTR. Yeah.
Yeah, CTR. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Manipulation. That's the word I was looking for. Blimmin' heck. Sorry, guys. And it just worked really well, and then it stopped working, and I had no idea. I was like, why is it not working anymore? Now there were two reasons. One was that I was using data center proxies, and two, the time zones were a million miles apart. So Google and search, so back then it was Webmaster Tools, but Webmaster Tools used to pick all this stuff up, and then it stopped picking it all up. And the reasons were the Resi proxies and the time zones. Sorry to digress there a little bit, but I just thought it was worth mentioning.
That is gold, though, guys, because there's a lot of reasons why, we've talked about this, Brian. Like, I'm like, oh, I'll just make Chrome files, or I'll just do this, or I'll make my own VPS server, or I'll do this. But it's very hard to change all of these little settings that are leaving that quote unquote digital footprint. So this is brilliant. That was worth the price of admission.
So it's not it's leaving the footprint, but what we're doing is we're creating the right fingerprint, the right fingerprint. It's there we've got the cookies, we've got the cache, you've got the time zone, you're in a real browser, and it's consistent the whole time, just like a real person. You're not always delete. Where's the cache? What happens to your history? Why are you changing browsers all of a sudden? Who are you, right? Why do you keep verifying? And that in itself is just an absolute nightmare to constantly have to deal with. So yeah. Okay, so where were we? I think let me close these browsers down.
Sorry if I threw you off then. I just thought it was
no, that's okay. I guess here we have here's Chameleon. I guess we could do a little maybe a little demo of Chameleon, or maybe anyone has some questions.
I definitely would love the demo. And you guys, if you do have questions, again, this, I wanted to do this session just because I'm curious. And when Brian said, Lisa, I told you 10 years ago not to do what you're doing. And I said, but Brian, I don't want to go through all that junk. And he said, well, come look at this tool. And that's what made me start looking at it in the first place.
Right.
Because I'm signing in as all different clients. My VAs they're signing in the middle of the night, and I don't have to worry about that anymore.
No. Yeah. So I suppose it's worth just digressing just a bit, Simon. Sorry.
No problem.
So back in 2011, 2012, when Lisa and I first met, it was through a few different training courses that I was either involved with or doing myself. And we used to always, it got to a point where people were getting there. So one of them was called Maps Magic. Even though I didn't do the training live, I was one of the main case studies, if you like, and all of that kind of stuff. And at the time we would make lots of Google Maps, and I did a lot of affiliate marketing through it. And I would set a load up, make a little bit of money affiliate marketing wise, and then sell them on. I did very well. Then what happened was Google started banning all these things, right? And then what happened was that if you were opening all these up, all behind the same computer, an IP address, and you weren't clearing your cookies, and if anybody here is as old as me, you will remember that you had to start cleaning something called flash cookies, and I know that Lisa will be like, oh my goodness. So long story short, that they all started getting deleted because Google could link everything together. Okay, so we started getting very paranoid and saying, right, what you have to do is you have to make sure you're behind different IP addresses, clear all your cache cookie, flash cookies, as well as all the other cookies, yada, yada, yada. And then it got to the point where PBNs started to get de-indexed, even though you'd think there was no footprint, but Google could follow all of this stuff because you were not logging into them, but people were very daft in they would have all their money sites on the same Google. It's Search Console now. It was Webmaster Tools back then. And all of a sudden, one site might get hit. Next minute, everybody's site within the same, everything that was linked together under that one Google account got de-indexed. And I know people who they lost all of their clients got de-indexed because they were doing dodgy stuff with affiliate marketing and things that Google didn't want to be happening. Everybody got de-indexed. It was an absolute shit show, pardon my French.
Yeah.
So as soon as I saw Browsio, I was like, I wish I had this 4 or 5 years ago. So that's why that's why I initially bought it. So sorry to go off on that little tangent again, but
yeah. And Brian, what you're basically saying is, listen, guys, you don't know what's going to happen, but what we do know and what we have learned is they're keeping track of everything, and it's showing that they're keeping track of the exact time you did stuff and when you did it, how you did it. Let's be honest, we don't have to be doing nefarious things to want to use this software. I don't do any nefarious things, but by golly, I'm working for clients all across the United States in different time zones. And I do have VAs logging in to do some work for me, as I should be able to do. Yeah. So I want to keep cognizant of time. So show us. I want to check out this back end a little bit more. I mean, I have it, but I'm always looking to learn.
Okay, absolutely. So
can I just finish my train of thoughts, just because this is what I wanted to say and I went off on a tangent. So in the last 2 months, some big name SEOs have lost some very, very big money sites, all because they had everything tied together, all under the same Google Search Consoles, and they lost everything that was all linked in there. So I just wanted to kind of, run that and finish that point. So this is why I always say keep everything separate. Sorry, you carry on, bud.
Yeah, absolutely. No. Okay. So just this is the dashboard. So this will be empty when you get it. And this is where you add your favorite profiles that you're regularly accessing at the moment. This is very easy. Just click that and it goes away, toggle. This could be your favorite clients. These are just folders with various accounts within them. So HVAC, or names of clients, whatever they might be. Again, just very simple, quickly toggle on and off. I don't want to bore you with the settings, but I'm just going to take one thing in the settings one thing in the settings I'd like to show is that you have customization on things like this, right? So if you want to,
Simon loves this.
I love it. If you like dark mode or light mode or the little colors, which some people like, you have the ability to do that. But back to the actual meat and potatoes of what's going on here. So here is where all of your profiles live, right? So it's all in one dashboard. If you forget where a profile might be, you've got hundreds or thousands of profiles, but you do have an idea. You remember the name of the folder. So let's say it was the name of the client. So let's say this is guitar. So there it is. We click on that, and that's what the profiles are. It will get you to all of those profiles. If you don't remember the name of a profile of the project, but you remember the name of a profile, it'll also do a profile search. So it'll get you there. Here's the profile, George Felix Green. It will then take you into the folder, Demo 2024, and show you exactly where that folder is. So you'll always be able to keep on track of all of your profiles, no matter what, with the search facility over here. And you've also got within the folders here a search facility to find profiles. If you've got, I don't know, hundreds of profiles within a within a specific folder. So, you've got that facility within here as well. This here is the automation. So we've got a couple of scripts that it comes with. It's custom automation. So we use Playwright, and it's currently the best automation out there. You can literally do anything with it. We have a Google Site Creator that we're working on right now, and that should be ready. It's going on in the background, but it's just to give you an idea of the ability that it has. Is you can automate anything with Playwright. Using Chameleon itself, we have a little record button here so that you can actually record within Chameleon. This is for straightforward things like CTR, or if you want to click on a certain link and go to YouTube and watch a video, like a video, things like that. It's point and click automation, and you can use both Chrome or Brave. But then if you want to get really heavy on the automation and do site creations or anything like that, then you can most definitely do that. You just need to get someone who knows a little bit more about Playwright, even someone on Upwork. There are many people. It's a very, very common technology. You can find it. You can even ask ChatGPT to code it for you. They know all about Playwright. We've decided to use Playwright because it's the best and it's the most robust. There's other ones out there, Puppeteer, Selenium. They're not as good, and they don't give you the customizations that are available in Playwright, and you are able to, and Playwright comes with all of the subscriptions. So whichever one you get access to that. And on the side here is, straightforward, the folders.
It's worth noting just very quickly that reference the Playwright stuff.
Yeah.
When we're up and running more, we will have like a reciprocal, a place where people can share and do all of that with these kind of automations
scripts
as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Over here is the projects, your clients, your affiliate programs, whatever you're working on. They're here. You can quickly click on straight from here and change the proxy. So it'll take you straight into the folder here, and you can change all the proxies very easily from there. Or you can click on the proxy on the settings here. I'm not going to click on that because all of the proxy usernames and passwords are going to be there. But it's very, very, very simple and straightforward to change your proxies. You can use the proxies that we have built in. If you get access to that, we're going to be giving away some gigabytes so that you can get up and running at the end. So, or you can add your own proxies. It's entirely up to you. And I guess the last thing just to show here is when you click here, this is where you get started, is the new profile button up here on the right-hand side, top right-hand corner. So when you click new profile, what happens there is that you've instantly segmented this to a new person, a new computer, a new location, a new place, new canvas fingerprint, new everything. And that's all you need to do. The only thing you need to do extra from here is to add your proxy that you're going to use, or if you're using the proxies that are provided in Chameleon, then you can easily update them within the proxy section. And it's literally click a button, refresh, and it updates all of the proxies. And then these are just, personal information for the profile, name, business information, addresses, logins, so that you can easily access the logins we have. So if you open up a browser and you're interacting with the browser and you need to log in, or you want to sign up to a site, you have this window here that will stay on top the whole time, and you'll be able to copy and paste into the windows very easily. If you need to do a quick sign in very quickly, a quick re-verification, whatever it might be, all of your information is easily accessible to you right there. Just the last couple of things here is when you're in a folder here, a project, you click multiple profiles, and you have a couple of options up here. If you click this will open up 3 instances of Chrome. If you open this, it'll open up 3 instances of Firefox, each one connected to the profile, of course, and the same thing here with Brave. But if you open up this will open up a little Chameleon Mode button, which we call, this is Chameleon Mode, and you can go ahead and click on it, and you have your profiles, and it keeps track of it by highlighting which profile you're in. So as you can see here, you've got a green highlight here, and you've got a green highlight here showing that this browser is open. But if you want to quickly get access to that browser, then you can just click it and it brings it to the front. You want quick access. So if you want quick access to the username and password, it's all there as well, just alongside there. And what we're going to add in next to this is the PVA, so that you have quick access to the PVA. But we've already got it. It's in the settings. So you have 3 different
Explain
APIs.
what PVA is for people that don't know.
Yeah, we have 3 different APIs that we're connected to within the app, which allows you to instantly do a phone verification from within the app. It's Codes Verify, SMSpool.net, and SMS PVA. So we're connected via the API to all 3 of those. You just need to add your API, and just, you don't need to ever leave Chameleon for a quick telephone verification code. It's all there. Every single service is available, countries, and so on and so forth. So right now you have to just access that via the general settings over here. Whatever, it's proxies, the general settings. So this is where the default anonymity settings are. This is where the phone verification is. I'm not going to click on that just because I've got all of my API information in there. I'm sure none of you guys are going to take it, but once it gets out there, and it'll go onto YouTube, and wherever this video is going to get, it's going to, So over here is the phone verification API. It pops out, and then you can just interact with it alongside your browser, just like this. And then that's it. Those are the main settings of Chameleon to help you.
Hey, yeah. Simon, can you talk through password managers like LastPass and all that jazz?
Okay, so they manage passwords, and that's about it. We manage passwords, and we manage the passwords for each browser. So it doesn't automatically log you in right now. Right now, we're only using the copy and paste, but we do have in the works automation, very smart automation that's coming soon. We spoke a little bit about that. That is going to allow you to automatically log in using the username and password that's connected to each profile. We've also got another way that we're going to be injecting the username and passwords automatically into the profiles, into the browsers, so that you're not even going to need to have to use copy and paste. But right now, this is how it's being managed, and the differences are, it's not just a password manager. These are right. So in terms of security, which is probably what you want to know about, comparing LastPass security to this has got the highest security, right, integrated with Amazon. But we're also currently adding another layer of security that is going to integrate with the VA, so that when the VAs have access to it, it's going to connect in a different way, where we sync the cookies and cache as well in the back end. So it's not just syncing the username and the password and the browser and the browser setup and the proxy and all of that, but we're also going to sync the cookie and the cache information. So we have a new secure system that it's LastPass secure, highly encrypted. It doesn't get any more encrypted than this, basically.
Yeah, and Simon, I think what Noam was kind of referring to is the fact that he would like to still use his password manager and maybe an API or feed into the system, but Noam, that's leaving the footprint again.
You can use LastPass. It's just an extension. So we're using Chrome and Brave and Firefox, and you have the ability we have a special folder in the install folder that you can find. I'll show you. So this is how it is. Right. So in browser extensions, you have a README text, and it tells you exactly what you need to do. It'll tell you to create a Firefox folder, or to create a Chrome folder, or a Brave folder. And we'll show you how to download the extensions and put them into here so that they can appear across all of your browsers. So if you have any other extensions that you want to use, that you use in Brave, or you use in Chrome, or you use in Firefox, same process. We'll show you exactly how to download that extension and just paste it in here. and then you have access to that across all of your browsers. And just to point out, because we're obviously spoofing all of the Canvas fingerprint, which includes the plugins and extensions that are being used, so no one can see which plugins are being used. So there's no footprint of every browser having the same extension and plugins and so on and so forth. So that's all taken care of.
Thank you, Simon, because I just learned something, because I've been copying and pasting my stuff in and keeping them in two places because I thought I was leaving a footprint by logging into LastPass.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, no, it won't. If it won't have, they won't be able. I mean, maybe LastPass. I'd like to check, but I would imagine that. I don't know if LastPass is. I know that RoboForm works differently than LastPass. I think LastPass is just a browser extension. Yeah, it is just a browser extension, and yeah, that's right. It doesn't work in the same way as RoboForm. I believe RoboForm is a browser extension, but you can only have one. You can also only have one RoboForm connected to a computer, but I know you can have multiple LastPasses on each browser. But if you want to have the same LastPass across all of them, you can also do that.
Yeah. So I think what Simon's saying here, Noam, is your password manager is not going to be a problem at all. Which is, again, something I learned because I was doing it the hard way by copying from LastPass and putting it into Chameleon. Yeah,
but maybe do they have an API? If they have an API, we can connect it in and bring it in as well. And if there's enough people that are using LastPass, I don't know. We'll have to look into that.
I think what you showed is easy enough if you're just putting something in there, and then no one says he's using Bitwarden and he knows they have an API for sure.
Right. Okay. And then we have the virtual task force. This is your VAs, your users. The way that you would invite them, you'd create a username here, email for invite, and choose which profiles you want to share with them or which folders you like to share with them, and then you just send them the login information. My users have just been wiped for some reason because we did an upgrade on the back end and I said it was okay. So I don't have any to demo in here, but it's very straightforward to use as I showed. You create the username, you create the email invite, and then you send the email, you put the email there that you want them to use, and then it gives you all of the information here. We're also changing, like I said, the system on the back end so that you're able to sync cookies, and we're upgrading the security there. So that's the reason why I deleted all of my task force users.
This feature right here, guys, is to me one of the best features, because even with LastPass, invariably, what would end up happening is I would get a random Skype or something like, oh, LastPass is logged out. You have to log me back in. Or, oh, I can't get into my LastPass. And with this, if it's still in Chameleon, then it just doesn't seem to have the same implications. So what's really cool about this is your VA logs in and can't even access the resources. Like, they won't be able to skip this, if that makes sense. Meaning they can't like say, I don't feel like using this. If they have access to LastPass, they could not log in and they could go on and they can do whatever they want and say they were using it and not. So right. I don't know. I felt like this forced them to have to, be using the right profiles for the right customer because they had no choice, because that's where everything was kept.
Right. Yeah. So these are the profiles. You log in here, do everything in here. Exactly. Don't skimp. Don't use the wrong. Exactly. Yeah.
Now, because with LastPass, they could open up their own browser window, skip using the software. Mm-hmm. And I was still, and that it's all coming back to me on why we chose not to do that, and why we did copy and paste it in there, because you guys know me, I dot all my I's, cross my T's, but I was really wanting the VAs to have to do it. And what I love about this too is this also made it to where now a lot of the reason I had them logging in was because I was using a VPS server, and now they don't have to go to a VPS server to do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And my VPS server was in Dallas, and I thought I was doing the right thing until Brian says to me, oh yeah, what time are they logging in? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So these guys think of everything, so I don't have to.
Nice. So yeah, you would you'd have the logins here. You would create them here, and then you're able to just easily use them here. And this is all going to connect in with the automation as well. So once we have, we're going to have custom tokens as well. So the logins are going to be connected to each profile. So when an automation logs in and it does that sort of thing, it's all going to take from the information, the individual information that it has in the profile. So it's definitely, I mean, you definitely do want to use this, and you have multiple logins to add. If you've got different usernames, if you've got a Facebook password, that's different, and then you've got a Gmail, that's different, or you had to change a password, and now you've got to update a password, but all of the other ones are the same. So you just add a quick login over here, so you can have multiple logins in the same one, all different passwords, and they will all appear up here for you, so that you get access to them. Oh, we didn't save them, but you'll get access to them here. We need to save profiles, Chameleon updates, it's saved. And then that should appear here, Face and Gmail, so you have all of the different profiles there. Another thing, just to mention, just on the system, the way that it works, so you understand how you're interacting with it, is that this is everything that you're seeing here, all of the profiles and the usernames and everything that's stored is stored in the cloud. So whenever you update anything, whenever you save anything and you see that update, it's syncing with the API and making sure that everything is saved, so that when you come back the next day, or when you maybe change computers, you still have the exact same interface over here, and everything is always synced up. If your computer blows up, you don't have any of the username information, nothing saved, it's all backed up in the cloud. You don't have to worry about it. You just log in with the username and password, and you have access to all of the same information as you had on whenever you had it last. And then the last tab here is just automation. So this is where our demo scripts are that we're just installing and giving access to everyone right now. And this is where your custom scripts would appear, the ones that you create. I believe that's it. We've got quite a bit coming, but this is the alpha Chameleon. What we have. This is.
So, Simon, I don't know if you're comfortable sharing, but you were kind of sharing with me one day, like, this is more than just a password manager or a browser manager. Like, you did a test with some YouTube stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you okay talking about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So about 10 days ago, I did a little test using YouTube, and I believe it was this guy here, Billy Hernandez. And I wanted to just do I wanted a little case study. I wanted to do a little test just to see what would happen. And I created this channel the channel was opened a couple of months ago, probably. The Gmail is a couple of months old, but the channel was created 10 days ago, as you can see here, or 2 weeks ago, maybe. That was the first, with the 27th. This is the 12th now. So just over 2 weeks, actually, is when we first opened up and added the first post. And it's, as you can see, since then, we've got 14 subscribers. And yeah, okay, I got to say about 7 of those are me, right? Maybe even 8 of those are me, but 2,500 views are definitely not me, right? And what's crazy about this is that I was looking at different channels and comparing them, and blown away at how well. You know what? Let me just show you. Let's go to the dashboard. Let's look at the content, and let's look at the shorts. And this is what we're talking about. And we've got here the 12th, yeah? So the 12th, 2 weeks ago, we posted the first video, and 500 views. Then I posted this one, 13 views. Then the next one, I said 450, 400, 439, 505, and 176. Okay, so who can guess out of these, I don't know, 6 videos, which one I didn't manipulate? Which one I didn't do anything to? Yes? It was definitely this one with 13 views. And I have...
And when you say manipulate, you're talking about like comments and likes?
Yeah, nothing serious. I mean, all I did was to grab a couple of other profiles that I've got in Chameleon, and because what happened is I posted this one, right, and I got 502 views, and this was the first video. I was just like, what the hell? Because it's a new channel, and I did nothing except I shared it with Brian. Brian liked it, so there was just a Brian comment. And then I replied on the comment. So it was 2 comments and 2 likes, right? And we got 500 views. And then I thought, oh, that's cool. So then I posted another video and I did nothing. And then I got 13 views. And then I said, hang on a minute, let me just try this again. So I posted this and I didn't share it with Brian this time. And I shared it with some of my personas. And I liked it. And then as soon as I liked 1 or 2, I noticed an immediate spike in the traffic. And the traffic of the shorts immediately went up 39, 49, 69. I added another couple of comments, subscribed, went in with another profile, same thing. And I did that with each one of these. The only one I didn't really do it with is this one here. I didn't do the subscribe. See, there's a lot of different ways that you can get to a video, right? There's the search, there's the way that it shows it to in the sidebar, related search, and then there's the subscribers. So what I did is I subscribed with a couple of my profiles after watching the channel and commenting and engaging. And then I posted a video. And then I took the 3 profiles that I had subscribed and I kept them open. And then after the video was posted, I went back to these profiles and lo and behold, the new short appeared in the feed. And because I had subscribed to it, as you all know, when you subscribe to a channel, what happens is, you get all of that information. You don't even need to subscribe to a channel. You need to just go, all you need to do a lot of the time is go and watch a video and maybe even like it. And then as soon as you've liked a video, you're going to start seeing other videos from that channel in your feed. So that's what we did. We just subscribed, waited, published, waited with the guys who we subscribed with, and we didn't, as you can see, we're talking 4 comments, 4 likes, 5 likes, 7. I think
it's not like you've spammed it with 1,000 likes or
these are not. This is like, look, this one was 1. This was 1 comment and 6 likes, and I know.
Hey, Mom, can I make a persona for you? Hey, Dad. Hey, sister, brother. I mean, you could get away with this stuff and still be what I call above the fold. But I think, Simon, we were talking about, I have, 22, well, maybe 100 YouTube channels and active, good YouTube channels. And there's nothing wrong with a YouTube channel liking or subscribing to another one, etc. So what I like here is you didn't go out and just fake the heck out of it. You just gave it a little boost, and then natural stuff hopefully will take over time.
Yeah, that's the thing, because if it's not going to take over, then the content's just not going to be. It's just not going to do it, right? And that's it. This isn't going to work with just pushing spammy garbage out there. I mean, 3 or 4 likes, that's not going to get you. That's not going to get garbage out there. But if you've got good content and you want to bypass the waiting for, everything to happen, then and share it with a couple of friends, share it with a couple of personas, get in there and engage, and just make a couple of comments. And we're not talking about, I mean, they're just normal engaging comments. They're nothing. We're not doing anything malicious here. We're just, where is it? Where are the comments? Anyway, they're just, here we go. They're just, informative. Billy, another one. Oh, there you go. See, I replied even with my real profile there.
Yeah.
So this is a real guy here. This is a real comment. There's a couple of real comments in there, and like I said, about 8 or 9 real subscribers. And a totally faceless YouTube channel. Look at this new achievement: 1,000 views, 14 subscribers more in the last. So it's they're definitely
brilliant, and
it's going to help with boosting. But if the content's garbage, it's going to be garbage.
And you're going to get around like. Anytime I post a video, I follow all the good stuff you're supposed to do, immediately like it, make a comment, do this, do that. But this way doesn't leave that footprint where, Google owns YouTube, and they can sure as heck figure out if you're liking all your own videos and all your own channels and you put all that together, they're not stupid. So
know that.
Yeah. When you showed me this, I was like, oh, okay.
And it's worth just noting with these personas, and I don't know if Simon did say or not, but you know, then go off on little tangents to make them, you know, like look at other things that, but don't keep them all looking at the same videos and liking the same videos. Like take them off in little different directions.
Yeah. Like you see what I just did there. I opened up with a profile, right? And as you can see, I'm subscribed to this dude, Billy, and there it is, right? I don't know if I've liked or engaged with this one yet. But no, you see, I haven't liked it yet, and I haven't commented on it yet. But it gave it to me as soon as I opened up. The browser, and that is where you want to be like, okay, now, okay, so
yeah,
cool.
And
so it's going to keep
you're
showing
interacting with those on YouTube's algorithm, and it shows up in their feed, and people click it, they're going to show it to more people.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah. All this stuff is,
and the more. Sorry, darling, go on.
No, I was going to say it's all like an algorithm, and all we're trying to do is, you know, get a little leg up is all.
Yeah.
That's it. And you're with all these little personas, you're making these little personas like this niche, right? And then what that is also really good with the algorithm is that they will say, well, look, you know, these people like this. So anybody else that we know that likes this, we're going to send it to them, right? And the more you do that, the more people you'll get to your channel and your videos, and it starts to snowball.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you for sharing, Simon.
So Simon, can I ask you to explain something for one of the guys here?
Yeah.
So they've mentioned different browsers, like obviously Safari and Edge. So we're looking at bringing in Edge. I can't remember what we decided with Safari, but somebody mentioned the Chromium based browsers, and then got the other two where I haven't heard of for ages, Wavebox and Arc, right? Explain why we keep with the main ones rather than going off with the fringe ones.
Yeah, well, that's you want to be within the crowd. With I understand why you would want to have one of those privacy browsers if you're only using a browser, because then you want to be private and you want to make sure that you're as private as possible. I don't know exactly how these browsers work, but I would imagine these special browsers make sure to keep everything as private as possible. But they're not keeping things separate for you. Exactly. They're not doing that. And what we're doing here is we're using real mainstream browsers that Google and Facebook and Twitter and all of these sites absolutely love, and have no problem giving you access to their sites when you say, hey, I'm here with my buddy Chrome or Firefox or even Brave, because Brave is quite well known, especially Edge as well, right? Edge is built on Chromium as well. So that is going in next. It may be even Opera if there's demand for it, but I don't know, if you're using just those standalone browsers, then I understand why. But if you're worried about privacy and security, then and you've got Chameleon, then you don't have to worry about that if you're using Chameleon, because we've got that taken care of.
And we use these main ones because what's the phrase? I want to say, like, we're hiding in plain sight in the crowd.
Hiding in plain sight. Google loves Google. They like to see that you're in you're real, and that's what it is. Using these browsers. As opposed to having these other builds that are built. Because I tell you why. Because we've done that. We've been there and done that. We did that with Browsio, and then we did that with the old Chameleon. And in fact, we did a whole bunch of things with the old Chameleon that were like real flags, but we were getting around them consistently, but they were completely really annoying, and the other anti-detect browsers that I know of and we've tested, they're still doing it in that old kind of way, and I know when you build a Chrome build, it's like 350 gigabytes download, and then you need to have half a terabyte of space on your computer to build it, and then going through that kind of code and compiling it, it's not the same way as Google compiling the Chromium build as anyone else going and compiling the Chromium build. So they're going to leave little telltale signs and flags that they're going to know, hey, this is a Chrome browser. And the other sites know that. They know exactly how to tell if this is a Chrome browser or if this is, a browser that's, spoofed and, it doesn't have this particular tag, it doesn't have that, whatever it might be. So that's why we ended up going the route of using these browsers in this way, because we found it to be the most secure and the safest left.
And these are what, I'm just going to throw in here, if like what they said, Simon said, hiding in plain sight. A chiropractor isn't going to use some of these off-brand browsers. A dental office, when you think about who your customers are, most of them are going to use one of the top three. And that's another reason to use it, because it is more natural than using some, one-off browser. And if you get in the habit of, all you ever use is this browser that, 0.5% of the population use, and you're using it on all of your customers, again, you're even, in my opinion, a footprint, because
that's a bigger flag than anything. One of the biggest flags. Yeah.
See, Brian, I pay attention.
Yeah. So Noam says one of the reasons to use them beyond privacy is that they have a bunch of other features the vanilla browsers don't have, such as integration with messengers, support for Teams, and so forth. So if I can just answer that very quickly, that's fine for your main browser on your machine. And you can do that with all of your teams. Whereas Chameleon, this is 3 browsers for all of your individual profiles. And they don't need all of these different pieces of add-ons, because you're just logging into them for whatever you're logging into them for, to go into Facebook, YouTube, whatever. But it's a different use case. Would you guys agree? Am I missing something?
Nope. I think we hit it, direct on the head there. So, and I got to keep us moving. So if you want to talk about this more, we can definitely do that. But I like to keep the time. We're already about 15 minutes over. So we can keep the conversation up. But Simon, would you be so kind as to at least show us what your packages are? I know you guys have put together a very generous offer for my audience and for all of Agency Fast Track. So let's get that out there. And then if you want to stick around and ask more questions, we certainly can.
Cool.
Okay. So here's the offer. We have the yearly plan and a lifetime plan. The yearly plan is 25% off of all of the plans. So there's 3 different plans that you can pick from. This is the code AFT25. And there is the link that gives you 25% off. And then the link to the lifetime, where you can save up to $3,000. The code is AFT50. And here's the link to get to that, chameleonmode.com/AFT50. Now, I didn't add in here, but for the first 10 people who pick up, we're going to be adding in 10 gigabyte of residential proxy bandwidth that's built into the system itself that will get you up and running immediately. Now, they're not going to be the only proxies you're going to need. You're going to need to get other proxies as well, but they're going to get you up and running perfectly so that you don't have to worry about it. They're all integrated into the system, and first 10 who pick up either the yearly or the lifetime will get access to that. Now, the annual pricing, there's 3 different ones. Like I said, 50 profiles, and the price normally for that is $203 annually, but you bringing that down 25% off is $152. 300 profiles is $465 annually instead of $621. And then for the 1,500 profiles, the annual cost of that is $1,253 instead of $671. So it's 25% off of the already discounted $1,671. So really, it's actually 55% off the normal price of $199 a month for example. So that's the breakdown of the annual license. Now, the lifetime license, it's a one-time investment. The Pro Edition is $2,997. You get all lifetime, all updates for life, 1,500 profiles, 15 VA seats. And the normal price, again, is $1,671 a year if you get the annual, or $199 a month. Now, the Enterprise Edition is a one-time investment as well. And that gives you unlimited updates, all for life, for $5,997, unlimited profiles, 25 VA seats. And that is normally only available on request at $997 a month. Now, because we're here on webinar with Lisa, and we wanted to put together something special for you, the Pro Edition, we're giving you a 50% discount on that, as we mentioned before. So that will bring the cost down from $2,997 to $1,497, and you get updates for life. And then the Enterprise Edition is a one-time investment. Instead of $5,997, it's 50% off, bringing that down to $2,997, updates for life, unlimited profiles, 25 VA seats. And again, that's normally only by special request, the Enterprise Edition, which isn't available even on the website. And that's $997 a month. There's only 10 available for each one. And that is the link, AFT50, chameleonmode.com, AFT50. Now, we've got a lot coming. There's a lot coming, and I can't talk too much about specific things because I know once this webinar gets out into the ether, people are going to see, and our competitors are always watching. They're always seem to be trying to play catch up, which is fine. I have no problem with that, but we're not going to spoon feed them what we're doing. What I can say is the next thing that's coming up in the next 2 weeks is an AI assistant, which is going to make everything so much more easier. When you're creating your profiles, you'll be able to create multiple niche related profiles, including content, for example, your about you, your bio, links, social links, and even a prompt for an image. And that is going to come, and that's going to be part, and it will go, you basically, it's going to be very simple. AI assistant, you have a little prompt area in Chameleon, and you're going to say, create 10 plumber profiles from Sacramento, California, and it'll just do that. It'll go and create within Chameleon, it'll set up the profiles here, right? It will set up, instead of having to click new profile and then you having to go and click on, the main and add in the names of the person, the business. And we're talking about, your minions, your tier twos, right? The, addresses and potential logins. It'll populate all of these automatically for you. That's how the AI assistant is going to work. And it's also going to be able to populate your social sites with quick content, quick replies, and blog posts on the fly. We're actually integrating the AI assistant with the prompts from Peter Hatherley. I don't know if you guys know of him. He's a bit of a prompt engineer. He's got a couple of really good products, all based around prompt engineering and using prompt tags. So we're working together with Peter on this in order to provide not just average content, but really focused content using his system. So it's going to be able to create all sorts of things on the fly as well. But the first thing that we're going to be having is that multiple niche related profiles on the fly as well. The other thing which is coming are tags. So if you're, for example, in Chameleon and you've got, let's say, profiles, and some of them have Facebook, some of them don't have Facebook, and they're all in different profiles. So you just create a tagging system and you'll be able to quickly group them all together so that you can easily access them for whatever you need. Let's say you need 5 Facebook profiles in this niche over here and you've got them tagged. You've got Facebook electrician, and then boom, you just click the tag, and then you've got outside of your profiles, outside of the organizing all of your profiles, it'll have another level of organization, which is a tagging system that's going to help you quickly get the groups that you want to interact with very, very quickly. Cookie sync, like I mentioned before, right now we sync profiles, but we don't sync cookies yet. And we are working on a whole new secure system right now, which is actually implemented already. It's done. So it's all being rolled out as we speak over the next couple of weeks. And then intelligent automation. This is something that is completely new to our area, our market, and the market itself. It's something that Amazon just even released some new updates just a couple of months ago, and I'm sure people don't even know that they exist yet. I'm not even going to say any more about that. And it is also going to give you an automation, a way to automate like you've never seen before, something above and beyond Playwright, even something totally new. We spoke a little bit about that before the webinar, Lisa, so I don't want to give too much more away, but that's all I think I could say about that.
Yeah, I think that's enough.
Yeah, and then we have the YouTube uploader, which was part of our legacy Browsio and then the old Chameleon. We got rid of it from the app, and we're creating a little SaaS for that. So it's going to be a new online system for you to use to upload to multiple YouTube channels from one location. Same thing, post to multiple WordPress sites from one location instead of using the old Chameleon dashboard. It was a little bit too, I don't know. It wasn't as streamlined as we like it to be. So this is now how we're going to have that working. And then we have this social engagement module, which is going to monitor your profiles that you have in the back end. Feed it keywords, and it will then monitor whatever you tip for it to do. So we've got we've got Reddit, Twitter, Facebook groups, and I think it might actually be TikTok. I can't remember what the last one was, but we've got 3 or 4 platforms in there that you're able to pull links back based on keywords so that you can get in there and engage with your profiles very, very easily, lead generation, whatever it might be. So that's coming towards the end of the year. And we've got lots of little updates and other things that are planned as well, which we're not going to talk about right now, just because they're, I don't want to say secret, but they're in the works, and
they're secret, Simon.
They are secret as well, but
some you guys have to consider, right? These guys, if you haven't been following along, whatever these guys do, the guys who sell cheaper, crappier software just copy. And so these guys innovate, they create the new stuff, and then somebody else copies their stuff. I personally would rather be with the innovator than the copier, because the innovator knows what the heck they're doing. So not sharing some of this stuff ahead of time is smart for them. And that's why I personally signed an NDA, so that way they could tell me all the goodies, but I can't share.
Yeah.
But you think they're good? Think they're good goodies?
I think they're amazing. And, Charles joked about me being, almost saying the word, or you did too, about saying white hat. But honestly, I'm going to use the features, the tools, the things for what I call, kind of above the page or above the fold. So I'm thinking about, my client that has, no people. Well, I get to be their social media manager. I get to be their whatever. There's nothing wrong with creating a profile in their name as long as they've given me permission. And so don't just think, like I said, I keep getting back to, don't think nefarious things as laws change in the US or as things, evolve. I still think this is very, very valuable software to get our jobs done for our clients and for ourselves.
Yeah.
And so here,
it's just worth noting the Invest Now button only goes to the annual price or the monthly and the annual pricing page. So if you are wanting to be in one of the very few that get the lifetime, that is a different link. And I have shared that in the chat, but I don't know if it's clickable or not.
Yeah. So it's 50% off the lifetime and 25% off of all of the yearly plans. And there is the monthly there as well. If you want to pick up the monthly, it starts at quite an affordable rate there, but
minuscule price.
It's entirely.
If you click offers, I think they both should be there now. Let me see. The links are in the chat. So if I might need to have Carson, if you're listening, Carson's the man that knows sessions better than me. I might need to have a little tutorial. I'm fumbling a little bit, but I love this software so much.
I think what happened, I think, because when you click on to the normal annual one, you have to make sure to click the annual button on the top, because it comes up just with the monthly, and then there's that button that says yearly on top. You have to click that in order to get to the yearly offer. That's where that that coupon
Do
works.
you want to show it real quick on the screen,
Yeah.
Simon?
Yeah, just
That
show
way-
it. Take the words right up my mouth. Yeah.
Let me just
Yeah, I always find that to be the better way. I'm a visual girl.
Yeah, me
So
too.
so when you
Not
come
girl,
to
but
Yep.
here is the buy now. So on the top here, like I was saying before, you're already saving up to 30% with the yearly. So when you pick up the yearly and you add that 25% on, you're getting an extra 25% off of the yearly. So it's actually 55% off of the main price. And that's how to get to it. Otherwise, the coupon won't work with the monthlies. It'll only work with the yearly or the lifetime.
So Charles has a really, really good question. I know the answer to, but I want you guys to explain it instead. So what's the difference between profiles versus clients?
A profile is an individual profile persona. It could be a client, but the clients you would put in a folder. You would name a generally a client. You would have the folder, and then you would have within that the different profiles. A profile is an individual, one email account, one browser instance, right? Does that make sense?
So Charles, think about it this way. If I'm doing work for XYZ widget company and in their SEO, I decide that I'm going to create 3 or 4 different profiles, XYZ widget company is the client, and then each of those personas is actually the profile. So each client could have several profiles.
Yeah.
yeah,
If that
you
helps.
could do all of the directors, like because they might give you access, allow you to run all their socials. So you would have have you got a folder that you can show, Si, in Chameleon, just to? Again, I like to see it rather than.
So here we go. So here you have here is a folder. You can create folders, and you name them whatever you want, of course, right? So this might be your client name. This might be the niche name, and then each one of these folders is going to contain however many profiles you put in it. So you click on here and all of the profiles connected to this folder appear here. And that's how you stay on top of your clients, your affiliate programs, your projects, whatever it is that you're working on. You create a folder system here, create a folder, and then that will then bring you then rename that folder to whatever it is, and then you import folders, profiles into the folders, and then you keep everything organized in that way. And then we're going to have a tagging system, which is going to make things even more, another level, an extra layer of organization.
Yeah, and I'll just say this, like for my 10X peeps, this is part of our new process we've been alluding to. It's stuff that you're going to start seeing in our processes. And so what we plan on doing is having those instructions clearly for the VA. You're going to ensure you're logged into Chameleon, click on X clients and do this work or do that work or etc. So it makes it even easier because now it's not, okay, open this browser and then, I got to figure out how to get the passwords in there and, they got to get on a VPS server. This actually makes that kind of work. I've got 3 VPS servers. I'm going to keep one. I'm going to keep my Quora server, but the other 2, I'm actually going to shut down because I can use this instead. Well, shutting those VPS servers down alone saves me $200 a month.
Yeah.
There you go.
And
with those, so go on, bud. Go on.
No, I was going to say, I remember using VPS servers for all of
Me
this
too.
stuff. It's so annoying, isn't it? It's just, you have to.
The view sucks. Everything about it sucks. And I know there's reasons to use it, but this makes it to where I don't have to do that.
And only one person can log in at once.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're right. Only one person can log into a VPS at the same time.
Absolute ball ache. Whereas this, obviously, you don't want somebody, 3 VAs all working on the same Facebook account. That would just, that's not going to work. But with this,
yeah, Brian, how we manage that is basically we assign accounts to different people. Like only this person would work on this client and only that person would ever work on that client. And then you're never logged in 2 places at the same time or et cetera.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah. But you can have, as many people as you've paid for to be in running all these accounts. So one question that popped up, and I forgot to answer it. It says, are you spoofing IPs, or the IPs are the real IPs from the proxies? So
these are no, we're not spoofing the IPs. We're using proxies. We have multiple different types of proxies: residential, data center, residential and mobile. But yeah, no, the way that a proxy works is that it acts as this barrier between you and your proxy. So what it's doing is it's spoofing your proxy, your home proxy, the proxy that is on your computer, right? So I think that's what maybe what you're asking is, yes, it's spoofing your actual proxy at home and showing another proxy as in another location, wherever you're located. And if you're doing local marketing, there's two brilliant services that I'll share. I'll send the links out afterwards. They allow you to narrow down to the actual city, the state, and the city. If you need to have consistent residential IPs in a specific city, it's brilliant for all of that. So that's how that works. Does that answer the question? Is that what you meant?
I think so. Yeah. So it's basically it's not connecting via your IP address. It's connecting via a different residential IP address that we've got set within, or you've set within Chameleon for that profile.
Yeah.
Jen said another question. It's not my favorite question. In the agency fast track world, I do not offer a refund policy, and that's because I tell people a refund makes you lazy. You don't have to try it. You don't have to play with it. You don't have to learn it. What's your refund policy?
Well, we have a 30-day refund policy.
There you go. So instead of a free trial, guys, and there's a reason why they don't give free trials, because again, the competition out there is trying to steal everything they do and, try to pass it off as being as good as these guys. It's not. And, so there's no free trial, but they do have the 30-day there.
Yeah. And it's worth noting, and I know this is a bit off the wall, but for any of the lifetime purchases, after 30 days, if you're willing to sign an NDA, we're willing to tell you what we've got coming up.
Yeah, but it's got to be after the 30 days.
But it's got to be after the 30 days, because otherwise our competition and I know it sounds stupid talking about the competition, but even down to the actual website, our competition have stolen the actual design and layout and the actual technology that's being used on it. So every time we change something, you'll notice that the bullet points on the competitors' websites change to encompass ours. So
and they don't they change and do the exact pricing you guys do?
Yeah, they even one of them who has been notoriously the most expensive has all of a sudden come down to a €19 a month package out of nowhere. But they're still not giving as good a deal as we are anyway. They're getting much less profiles, and it's an inferior system anyway. They can copy our websites and our ideas and our designs, but they don't have the tech to back it up.
And did we say that Browsio was the first anti-detect browser? I don't know if I heard.
I mean, it was. There wasn't even such a thing as an anti-detect browser back then. I mean, we didn't even it didn't even come out. I mean, the only reason it got out, I didn't create it to sell it. I created it to use. And then because I had all this extra time, I was managing with all the clients. I started to get a little bit back into SEO, because remember what happened? I said that I had the affiliate. I was killing it with affiliate marketing, making $30,000-$40,000 a month out of nowhere. Just it was waking up and seeing those stats in the morning was brilliant. And then all of a sudden Panda hit, and then we got into the local marketing. But when all that hit, it just there was all of the different updates, the different updates that we were dealing with. Sorry, it was an interesting time, I have to say, back then, dealing with.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. Yeah. I remember waking up on January the 27th, I think it was, and I'd lost like $40,000 a month overnight.
Yeah. But then that's it. That was the pivot. The pivot was into local marketing, and then we ended up getting into this, getting into local marketing, created Browsio, and then I started getting into affiliate marketing because I had all this extra time because now we were working with Chameleon. And then I had this software that I purchased. It was some backlinking software. I can't remember what it was. But
Sendwire.
It was a backlinking software. It was Sendwire.
Sendwire,
but there was another software created by Jeffrey. I can't remember his name, but it was just a pain to use, but it did so much to help. But then I started using it together with my software, Browsio. I didn't even call it Browsio at the time. I was just using it with my browser. And it was so good together. It worked so well together that I had to message him and just tell him, hey, you've got to see this. It's just, I've got your software and I'm doing this and it's doing that. He's like, what are you talking about? Send me that video. And he was blown away. We did a webinar. He's like, let's do a webinar. I said, what do you mean? What's a webinar? Why would I, what, how, why, what am I going to do? He's like, people are going to want this. I said, you think so? I said, well, I mean, yeah, I want this. I mean, I've never seen anything like this before. And we did the webinar and the rest is history, right? And then all of a sudden, 6 months later to a year later, there's these other companies copying, using, saying things and competition. All of our customers were coming to me saying, what are these guys talking about? They don't do anything, nothing compared to what you guys are doing. I said, it's okay, no problem. I have no problem. But then all of a sudden the term anti-detect browser was born. You know, I mean, we just called it Browsio. We just called it the productivity browser. That's all it was. And then anti-detect browsers. And then because of the term anti-detect browser, I think it got this like nefarious, you know, thing about it.
It still has, yeah.
I know, because so many people use it for things like crypto and all sorts of things. I don't even know the level of what they're doing with crypto, but I do know for a fact that they're using it for crypto. I don't know what, but they're using it for crypto for sure. So anything to do with crypto and then gambling and all this kind of stuff, it's going to have it's going to leave a bad taste in someone's mouth. And so it's got this.
It's worth no, I don't know the ins and outs. I'm just going to tell this little story because it is interesting, even though you know I don't get it myself because it's not something that I do.
Yeah.
So I was talking about Chameleon to our floor fitters. So we're in the middle of a renovation. The floor fitters were in.
Yeah.
And the floor fitter one of the floor fitters turned around and said, "Oh, I don't even know." I think he was talking about online gambling.
Yeah.
And he said he cannot do online gambling anymore because he's exhausted how to set up profiles, like, you know, in his name, his wife's name, yada, yada, yada.
Me about this. Yeah.
Yeah. So we started talking about Chameleon, and he has now started getting back into online gambling because he's got a system. So let's take a step back. Sorry. So he's got this system that wins like 20. I can't remember. Let's just say it's 15 times out of 20. But that means he makes a lot of money. So as soon as these online gambling websites figure out that he's using a system and he's you know, earning decent money from it, they delete his account, right?
Right.
So he got to the point where he couldn't open any more accounts. But now with Chameleon and all the different residential IP addresses and stuff, he can now go and open up all these accounts and start all that again. Now I know that's dodgy. It's nothing to do with me. I'm just talking about a totally off the wall thing that somebody said that they were going to use it for. So,
well, when Google first started, their motto was "Do no evil," right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you remember that? That was their motto.
I do remember, and they're the farthest thing from that they could get right now.
Yeah.
But they're not the evil ones. The evil system is when something goes public, then there's a requirement. Actually, there's a fiduciary requirement with investors. Like, you have to do everything you can to help your investors make money, or you could go to jail.
Right.
So it really is a different company the minute you take a company public.
Yeah.
And, as we're not going to get into politics here. Some people thought Elon Musk was crazy, but he took he took Twitter back private.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a reason for that.
Yeah.
So.
But it's now one of the most used sites, right? So
it is X.
Yeah. It's where people go for their news.
That's it. We're an hour 45 in, so we got to cut this thing.
Yes.
If you guys have any other questions, listen, we came here to learn. I hope you guys learned something. Brian's one of my oldest friends in this business, a mentor. I've paid him many, many times for his expertise and consulting and training and everything else. He knows his stuff, and he has known his stuff for decades. He's one of the OGs in this business. So he said to look at this. I looked at it. I loved it. I wanted to share it with you guys. If you find any more questions, Brian, and I'll make sure we get Simon in the group, but Brian is part of the AFT community. He's in all the AFT groups other than 10X. So you can find him in the regular AFT groups and, ask questions or just reach out to me and I'll get you guys in touch. So love the software. Check it out. But more than anything, guys, think about it because I fought it for a long time. I kept telling Brian, no, it's a pain in the ass. It's too hard. I don't want to do it. But I think we're getting into an environment where we almost have to, more on the sense that my client does need to own their own profiles and they need to own their own marketing. And this makes it easy for me to say, hey, can I get them to sign a little agreement? Hey, can I do like the things I need to do in your name?
Yeah.
Can I watch videos? Can I like things on your behalf? And then this software, Chameleon Mode makes it to where I not only can do it, but I can do it in a way that's ethical and I'm not going to get flagged by, all the junk out there.
Yep. Perfect.
All right. Well, I see no other questions, gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming here with us today. And
thank you for having us.
Yeah, showing some stuff and talking about stuff. And, I'm looking, I hit the buy button just to see what it would do. And don't forget, you have to type in the discount, but $1,500 to get a lifetime access to 1,500 profiles and 15 VA licenses. That's $100 and something bucks for 1 year. I mean, thank you.
Awesome. Well, I just want to say welcome aboard to those of you who have picked it up. So we'll be seeing you, I guess, in the groups, Facebook, and wherever else we'll be seeing you. And any other questions, I guess I'll see you in the group as well.
Yeah. And they have a school account. They have a Facebook group. I'm in all those. So hop in, start asking questions. And then if we need to, you guys know me, if our community needs it and we have enough people that want to get on, these guys are very generous with their time. And if nothing else, I can ask them questions if you can't find them, but they're findable. So I see Simon's name on a lot of the chats. I was telling him this morning, I should have screenshotted it, but I was in a group and someone was talking about how great Simon was. And I was like, Chameleon Mode Simon? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, he is great. So, all right, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming. Everyone, I hope you learned something and we will see you. Probably in a week or two with some other fun thing to look at.
Just one final thing. What we were going to do is we were going to say that we might do, if people were interested, we might do another carry on to what we did with that YouTube thing.
If you guys want to see more, especially if you guys got into an offer and now you want to use it, we'll do maybe one more session where we can actually get into the thick of things and do a little training. Brian knows this stuff like the back of his hand. So.
Awesome.
So does Simon, but Simon's got to, run.
Brian's the man.
Brian's the man for the training.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, you are. You've done a great job over the years with me. Look how successful I am.
Thank you. Well, that's all you. That's nothing to do with me.
It has a lot to do. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your afternoon.
All right.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Oh, it's bedtime for us guys, but all you guys, all the best, and thank you for listening to us rabbit on. All right.
All right. Take care.
Cheers, guys.